Hi, this is Indraneel and you are watching Business Bites in our channel The Spotlight, India's first online business news channel. In today's Business Bites, first news we have, Jane Street complied with interim regulatory order by depositing 4,844 crore in the alleged instances of manipulations. Second news we have, private equity firm ChrysCapital to acquire 90% stake in pan-India bakery chain Theobroma Foods at 2,410 crore. Third news we have, artificial intelligence analytics firm Fractal Analytics raised $170 million at $2.44 billion valuation. Fourth news we have, multi-specialty hospital platform Marengo Asia Healthcare plans to invest 150 crore to expand their footprint pan-India. And fifth news we have, Singapore investment firm Temasek is building India investment strategy for the healthcare delivery spectrum. In first news, Jane Street complied with interim regulatory order by depositing 4,844 crore in the alleged instances of manipulations. Jane Street has complied with an interim regulatory order and deposited 4,844 crore, where the decision came as a surprise to market participants, as it is rare for firms accused of violations to deposit such a large sum to comply with an ex parte interim order after the Securities and Exchange Board of India, that is SEBI, probe into the New York trading firm revealed alleged instances of manipulation in the local derivatives market, when Jane Street's action in depositing this amount could be with the intention to establish its bona fides. SEBI is examining the firm's request to lift the trading ban on it, and the regulator will issue directions to intermediaries including stock exchanges and depositories to lift restrictions on the interim order, when SEBI had barred Jane Street from trading in Indian markets after its order alleged index manipulation involving bank shares and Bank Nifty index futures and options. SEBI invoked the Prohibition of Unfair Trade Practices regulation for market manipulation, which covers any act or practice. It focused on Jane Street's trading data of about 20 days showing highest profits, when according to the probe, the manipulation by Jane Street occurred on expiry days of index options. SEBI has accused Jane Street of manipulating shares and future prices to make outsized profits through option on these days. After SEBI's order on 3rd July, the derivatives market has been impacted by Jane Street's absence, when the National Stock Exchange, that is NSE, saw a significant drop in daily average turnover for index option trading of about 17% in the previous week. In second news, private equity firm ChrysCapital to acquire 90% stake in pan-India bakery chain Theobroma Foods at 2,410 crore. According to an agreement signed between the parties, ChrysCapital will buy around 90% stake from the company's promoters and existing investor ICICI Venture, which holds a 42% stake in Theobroma, while ICICI Venture bought the stock for $20 million, that is around 130 crore in 2017, when the promoters will retain about a 10% stake. Privately held Theobroma was started by sister Kainas Meshman Harchandrai and Tina Meshman Vaikes 2 decades ago, with their first outlet opening in 2004 at Khusro Bagh on Mumbai's Kolaba. Theobroma currently has 200 stores in over 30 cities offering brownies, cakes, desserts, chocolates, bread and snacks, and the company is expected to post revenue of 525 to 550 crore in financial year 2025 with an EBITDA of 80 to 100 crore, when their adjusted EBITDA stood at 60 crore at a revenue of 400 crore in financial year 2024. And the company had also explored the possibility of an initial public offering but deferred the plan due to market volatility. India's restaurant and cafe industry sector is witnessing a rebound in deals after 5 quarters that saw consumers either postpone discretionary spending or reduce ticket sizes. Recent months have seen KFC franchise company Devyani International take a controlling stake in Skygate Hospitality, which owns domestic chain Biryani by Kilo, while Wow Momo raised 150 crore from Haldiram's promoter Kamal Agarwal and Malaysia Wealth Fund Khazana National. In the Theobroma deal, the other contenders including Bain Capital, Carlyle and the Khorakiwala family-owned sweets group, which operates Mongini's bakery chain, had shown initial interest in Theobroma. In third news, artificial intelligence analytics firm Fractal Analytics raised $170 million at $2.44 billion valuation. Fractal Analytics has raised $170 million, which is about 1,461 crore, and valuing the company at $2.44 billion, that is around 20,978 crore, when the public market-bound firm made a secondary sale of 6% equity by its long-time investor Apex Partners. The unicorn, which has dual headquarters in Mumbai and New York, is eyeing to list on the exchanges following an initial public offering worth $400 to $500 million, which could value the company close to $3 billion. When the buyers include 22 investors and funds advised by Trust Investment Advisors, as well as fund managed by White Oak Capital Management, Gaza Capital and Neo Asset Management. Fractal Analytics raised its last round in 2023 by TPG Capital when it was valued at $1.55 billion, and this was in fact before the company ventured into Gen AI solutions and services. The company has hired the bankers Morgan Stanley, Kotak Securities and Axis Securities, and the draft red herring prospectus is expected to be submitted to the market regulator, when the offer will be a mix of primary and secondary share sale, with some of the investors partly selling their stake. In fourth news, multi-specialty hospital platform Marengo Asia Healthcare plans to invest 150 crore to expand their footprint pan-India. Marengo Asia Healthcare plans to soon foray into Maharashtra and Rajasthan with an investment of 150 crore as part of its strategy to expand its footprint pan-India, which will be backed by Samara Capital, Havells Family Investment Office and Godrej Family Investment Office. Marengo currently manages about 1,500 beds across its network of 4 hospitals in Delhi NCR and Gujarat regions, and the company wants to significantly double its bed capacity from 1,500 to 3,000 beds by next year, when the expansion will be through selective buyouts of standalone hospitals and adding more beds in the existing facilities. Marengo hospitals will consolidate both north and west clusters when they are adding beds in Gujarat, which will put the company in the position of being a top leader. At the same time, they are also looking at something in Maharashtra and a couple of more places, and also will explore Rajasthan, as the company is evaluating assets across India, and they have a plan to grow by watching this space, as they will continue to add beds and additional beds in their existing facilities and also through acquisition of assets. And in fifth news, Singapore investment firm Temasek is building India investment strategy for the healthcare delivery spectrum. Temasek is building their India investment strategy by focusing on scalable, regionally strong and specialty-driven platform across the healthcare delivery spectrum, when the fund is deploying capital through both organic growth and bolt-on acquisitions with a long-term view centered on accessibility, affordability and high-quality care. While last week Temasek-backed Manipal Hospitals acquired the Sahyadri group of hospitals by outbidding the rival hospital chains and PE firms. Beyond multi-specialty hospitals, Temasek is also doubling down on focused verticals in healthcare, as they are expanding specialty cares, oncology, IVF and radiology, when the company looking closely at underserved markets where India remains deeply underpenetrated in healthcare, and their approach is to support platforms that bring in quality care at scale, whether it's through mother and child care, eye care, oncology or broader hospital chains. Although Temasek has historically participated in large buyouts in India, it remains actively engaged across the investment spectrum. Its total mark-to-market portfolio exposure in India was about $50 billion in financial year 2025, which is up from $37 billion in financial year 2024, while globally Temasek has a net portfolio value of $324 billion as of 31st March 2025. Temasek's India strategy is spanning both listed and unlisted opportunities and executed through minority or controlled deals or even platform building with existing portfolio companies. On that context, Temasek took a controlling stake in Manipal Hospital, which is a strong growth platform in Indian healthcare. Similarly, in the case of Haldiram, it explored a minority investment in a fast-growing consumer business, as whether it's a minority stake in a consumer brand or a controlling deal in healthcare, it is the both which is aligned with Temasek's objective in capturing India's growth. So these were the top 5 business news from Business Bytes in our channel The Spotlight, India's first online business news channel. I would like to request you to please subscribe this channel so that you can have all the updates from our end. Thank you very much for watching Business Bytes and signing it off.